I worked the night shift in a diner. The people that came in were mostly drunks. The other waitress that was there got off at 4 a.m., while I would stay until around 7. She left, but then she came back in a few moments later. She had a weird half smile on her face. Someone put something on your car, she said. Judging by her look, I knew it wasn't good. I ran out and found my car covered in naked dolls. Hundreds of them. Cabbage Patch, Barbies, baby dolls, all different shapes and sizes. The only thing they had in common was that they were all naked. It took about 4 55-gallon trash bags to get rid of them all. It was weird. What came next was even weirder. I started to get calls at work, at 4:15 every night, asking if I liked my gift. The calls started out as polite, but over the span of about 2 months, they turned into yelling and calling me a slut. Then, one night, at 4:15 like always, the phone rang. I answered and heard a bunch of popping noises. No voices, then they hung up. I never got a call again. It's been 9 years, and I still don't have a clue who it was, or why they even did it. I worked the night shift at a nursing home. There were normally only 2 people working there at night. Our job was basically to just clean up a little bit and get the residents to bed. Then we would sit around and watch TV the rest of the night. At around 2 in the morning, the doorbell rang. This was odd, as the home was at least 10 miles away from the nearest city. We went to check the front door and found a man, who said his car had broken down, and asked if he could use the phone. Now, we weren't allowed to let him inside, as it was against policy to let anyone in after hours, but we instead offered to call a tow truck for him, which he agreed to. We went to get the phone, but when we came back, he was gone. We thought this was a little weird, but came to the conclusion that he'd probably gone back to his car, so we went back to our station. We were about to sit down when we noticed that someone was standing in the TV room. It was the man that had been at the door. He didn't seem to notice us, so we ran and hid and called the police. Around 15 minutes later, the police showed up. We let them in and they searched every inch of the place, but the man couldn't be found anywhere. We called the manager to see if he would send some more staff to stay with us until the end of our shift, and he said he would come out. The manager arrived as the police were leaving, and we went back to watching TV. We were finally a bit more calm when we heard the front door open, then violently slam shut. We ran to the window and looked out, and saw the man running down the driveway. He'd been in the home the entire time the police were there. I'm so glad that I don't work there anymore. Night shifts are creepy enough in a nursing home, even without intruders. I worked the night shift at a fancy hotel next to the airport. One night, I got a call from a lady in 204. She said it sounded like there was a loud banging and crying coming from 206. I checked the computer and no one was checked into that room due to maintenance. What the fuck? I thought. I called my supervisor to see what to do, and she told me to call security and follow them up with a key. We went up, and as we got off the elevator, we could hear the crying. My heart started racing as we got near the door, so I gave the key to the security guard. The next 5 minutes seemed to go by in slow motion. He opened the door and immediately turned the light on. As we entered the room, the shower was on, and steam was coming from under the bathroom door. The room was insanely cold, and there was a lady in a red lacy bra and black panties curled up on the bed, crying. She was facing away from us. As the security guard approached her, he asked if everything was okay. She stopped crying and rolled over. When she did, a wave of horror fell over me. She was super pale, covered in blood, and was just staring behind us. That's when we realized the shower had stopped and the door was open. There was a man around 6'5" standing in the doorway. He was tased and arrested. It turns out he was a rapist who would hide in hotel rooms, kidnap women who stayed there, and cut them open. To this day, I will never go in a hotel again.